Salutation à tous, which is French for how is everyone. I just like the sound of salutation à tous. Today we're going to talk about brands. brands. I'm going to explain in a way maybe I've talked about this before. Today I'm going to explain it in a different way. Hopefully you would be able to understand it. When people in the movie industry or any business talk about brand, they're talking about their product, their name. Name brand. Denzel Washington is a brand. Cat Williams is a brand. And you want to protect that name, that brand at all costs. You want to protect the integrity of that brand. That's why when someone get in trouble with the police or family issues, their brand integrity is diminished. Now, you got it? Okay. When people call themselves certain names, you're labeled. It doesn't matter how intelligent you are, what you got going on. You have to understand the origin of the names you're carrying. You probably call yourself African American. Okay, are you Elon Musk? He's an African American. Yes, he was born in South Africa and he's an American. You see how confusing those terms can be? Most of you have not set a foot in Africa and you call yourself African American. Okay? That's a brand. That name was suggested by Jesse Jackson. I remember that back in the 80s. Like proudly say we're African Americans. Now, granted, they say we have a background, a history in Africa. But do your parents talk to you about, was it passed down through your grandparents about Africa? Or did your parents tell you about your Indian heritage, American Indian heritage? Was that passed down? The point of this video is to talk about brands and how important a brand is. African American, which we discussed, black. Now, black, it became popular in the 70s, before African American was chosen. They had this kind called Black Power, Stokely Carmichael, and then it dwarfed into being proud to be black. Meaning before that era, black was a negative. And the name is negative. You cannot change the meaning of a name. Black arts. Look in the dictionary. The meaning of a name cannot change because you're proud of it. Because you've been deceived to believe it's something great. I remember as a youth, someone called me black. Man, we went to fighting. Because I knew black meant you was a no count. It means you had no value. your brand. So even as a youth, we knew that. Not just me. This was my era. So somebody got in there and made black being positive. You should be proud to be black. You see how deceived we've been? But you can't change the meaning of a word because you've been deceived about what it really means. You're going to force people to see black as something positive? You can't do that. Black means death, dreary. Yeah, the people are positive, but don't call yourself black. That's a brand that takes you to being a slave. They call slaves black. They call them N-word. Won't say it here because it's been outlawed. Some people tell me what I can and cannot say. But I respect it because I know what the N-word was meant for. It wasn't meant for black people. Okay, so African American, black, Negro. That was used long time ago, before my era. And I remember I'm not this different than you now. I remember once somebody came to me with some papers or sign that had Negro on. I said, no, I'm not Negro, I'm black. Yeah. When I got older, I was part of that brainwashing too. I was saying I'm proud to be black. So I'm not looking down on anybody. I'm talking about my history and my evolution and my education of understanding the meaning of brand names. Okay, this is getting a little bit too long. Let me cut it off. I made the point. You want to have a brand that reflects your glorious past. And you got to find out what that is according to your family history. Some of you have tribes, which really is just a family. That's why you got thousands of tribes, because you got thousands of family names. But you have to do your own research into your genealogy to see who you are, see what country, what landmass you are from. Yeah, you're born in America, but you descended from somewhere, some other country, before America was here, or called America. You could have been right here on this land, but you identify with a tribe or a people who immigrated here. For example, I found out my people immigrated here from North Africa, and I have Ireland in my family history. So most of my family are light-skinned. That's the Irish roots was mixed with the African roots of North Africa. But that took me years to find that out. So you can find out your roots as well. Go to the genealogical library. They're all over the country. You might be one in your city, genealogical library, and search your family roots. And stop calling yourself black, because that's a brand name that means you not worth to be respected. It's written with a small b. You don't even have a status of a human being with that name, black. And you see how much you'll be more respected once you start calling yourself by your family descent name. respecting your ancestry, because black means you ain't got no ancestry. You just a slave with no history. So, in this short video, I talked about brand. I started talking about a business brand name and how you want to keep it with integrity. And I related that to calling yourself black, Negro, African American. It's a brand. It's a brand that relates to a nobody person, a slave. And if you're descended from slaves, that's not nothing to be proud of. Everybody descended from slavery of some sort. Do you see Europeans idolizing their time in slavery? Celebrating their time in slavery? No. And they were slaves. But they choose not to focus on that part of their history because there's so much more they want to be known for. They want to teach their children, to inspire their children to be more. Slavery don't do it. So these movies that come out about slave family, slave communities, they're going to keep coming about until you put an end to it, people. So-called black people, because I don't know where your history from. I just say so-called. If you have Tunisian roots, I call you Tunisian Americans. If you have Indian roots, I call you Cherokee descendant Americans. But I would not call you black if I knew who you are. And neither should you once you know who you are. See, it's a mindset to keep you identifying with something that means nothing. What history did black take you? It don't even take you to Africa. Did our ancestors call themselves black? No. So you see how you're going to have a problem if you try to go with that word black or Negro, African American? It takes you right to slavery, that's all. That's why you have to find out who you are. Your family roots. Your real brand. I made my point. Peace.